Welcome to Business Talk here on businesstech.co.za, South Africa's number one business news website. I'm your host, Michael Avery, and today we're rolling out the red carpet, not because it's award season, but because we're joined by diplomatic royalty. Yes, tonight we have the privilege of welcoming His Excellency Calvin St, Juste, who is the chairman of the board of governors for the Citizenship by Investment Unit of St Kitts and Nevis. He's a man who's not only conquered the high-stakes world of Wall Street, but he now leads the St Kitts and Nevis Citizenship by Investment Unit with the same level of precision and foresight that most of us reserve for our morning coffee orders. His Excellency has held roles that would make any overachiever blush. He's been Global COO at Morgan Stanley Wealth Management to central banker JP Morgan, all while picking up a Six Sigma black belt for fun. And he's here today to talk about why this small twin island nation in the Caribbean has become the go-to destination for those seeking second citizenship. And no, it's not just for the rum and beaches. We're going to explore the many facets of citizenship by investment and its appeal to South Africans. So, Your Excellency, I've just got to say, it's a great pleasure having you on the platform. I hope you're keeping well.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. I appreciate that that introduction. At times, I always wonder who one is referring to, but it's an absolute pleasure to be here to be speaking about my wonderful Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
Yeah, I must say, reading through your CV, it left me questioning what I was doing with my life, and I better get started on those second and third careers. But St. Kitts and Nevis is home to the world's oldest citizenship by investment program. So for those unfamiliar, why do people pursue second citizenships, and why St. Kitts and Nevis emerged as a leader in this space?
Yeah, so, and thanks, Mike. I think to your point, when we think about the concept of second citizenship, it has risen in the element of prominence. One thing I would really want to point out to the listening audience is that it transcends of more than just a mere position of an additional home. It also leads to the expansions of opportunities and also gives the enhancement of mobility across the globe. St. Kitts has been the oldest, as you indicated, in the citizenship by investment industry for over 40 plus years. And what we have seen is many individuals globally, especially in South Africa, they're recognizing the myriad advantages of having second citizenship. The ability to have a second citizenship, what it does, it facilitates access to business prospects. It also gives favorable tax environment. It also offers favorable tax environment, global mobility. And it really acts as a safety net in times of, I would say, political and economic uncertainty. And clearly, where we are in today's world, we have a number of those, what we call signal indicator. So as we turn our attention to St. Kitts and Nevis, I want to explain really the premier positioning as a pioneer citizenship by investment program. We've had a legacy that was established in 1984, and that's an extended point of time. What that demonstrates is sustainability. It also indicates a level of integrity, but the fact that people trust us. And so we've been in this business for a very long time. What it offers from a second citizenship perspective, it allows an individual to acquire citizenship through a meaningful investment in our economy. It's part of a contribution in whether it's a fund or perhaps an investment into real estate. So, Michael, what we want to dispel the prevalent misconception that the pursuit of a second citizenship, it doesn't equate to abandoning your homeland, and that's really important. What it does, what it offers is, it offers a pathway for personal and professional evolution. It enables individuals to really honor their roots while simultaneously getting global presence. St. Kitts and Nevis, one of the key things within our dynamic island in the Eastern Caribbean is that it presents a unique advantage. As I said, our political environment, our flourishing tourism sector, these are some of the key things that we see that has been a welcoming landscape to individuals and, most importantly, investors who wish to have that second citizenship. And lastly, what I would end with, it really gives the aspect of once you move into the citizenship, now you have a very strong passport that now enables more global mobility to more business centers.
And I'm pleased you touched on that misconception or that myth, because I think when you talk second citizenship with a lot of people, they do think, oh, you're running away and you're abandoning your homeland, and when things get a bit hot. But I know many executives who have gone on the citizenship by investment programs who still have homes here in South Africa, but as an executive, it opens up an opportunity set, a suite of business opportunities, and it offers something of an insurance policy, but also the ability to build globally scalable businesses and seek out those opportunities as well, and also enrich themselves culturally. And I think we're very much part of kind of a globalized culture. I know that there are some on the fringe who are trying to push back against globalization. I think it's a very important factor. How does the Federation balance economic opportunity with its very vibrant culture and natural beauty? I'm a big cricket fan, and I was raised on the fearsome foursome of the West Indies of the 1970s, and it's very much part of the Caribbean heartbeat as well. How do you balance all of that?
Well, what I would say is, I think first off is always the basic one-on-one in terms of, where's St. Kitts, what is St. Kitts, and then to your point around ensuring that there is a level of balance. So St. Kitts and Nevis is a twin island federation, and we are located in the Eastern Caribbean. We are renowned obviously for our tropical environment. In terms of the as you see it mostly on television, the white sandy beaches, the blue waters, and we offer a great environment in terms of an atmosphere. And then climate wise, we have stunning natural beauty, delicate cuisine, all the things that you indicated. The balance in regards to there's a cultural aspect, and then there's an economic aspect. What we have seen as a twin island state, a very small twin island state, that we have to ensure that we continue to be on the forefront. So the aspect of forefront is now sustainability. We're looking at renewable energy that in ways for us to sustain and diversify our economy. We are also exploring ecotourism industry. One of the key things that we've seen, and as you mentioned, it's my background being a Wall Street individual, is the whole concept of the ESG. That's what we saw investors are important. Yes, there's an element of return on investment, but there's an element of also doing good. How are we ensuring that we protect the planet? How do we ensure that those natural resources continue? And so St. Kitts has definitely, on the government, has made its clear agenda that we're moving to a sustainable island state. And so how do you balance the cultural aspect of the natural beauty and also preserve, as you mentioned, those areas of sports and areas of interest, but also then there's an economic facets on leveraging what we have, on natural beauty, but then sustainability, renewable energy. We realize that we have to. We may not be the cause of a number of the challenges, but in order for our continual survival, we have to now do our part, whether it's renewable energy, whether it's ecotourism to ensure we preserve our natural beauty. We want to see those areas continued. And so we leverage this program of citizenship where we enable investors to, one, get, as you said, an indication of a second citizenship, but also do good in some of the investment that they're able to participate in, such as our public benefit option that we have and our sustainable island state contribution. These particular investment not only gives an individual a return on their investment, but also helps do good in the economic diversification of St. Kitts and Nevis, and most importantly, the sustainability of our economy.
Well, and that does really sound like a shared value approach to the way one could approach this whole idea of a second citizenship, to understand and to know that you're investing in the infrastructure of the second country in a way that complements its own push towards net zero and sustainability. And we're having a similar debate in South Africa as to being a global citizen. Yes, we certainly weren't the driving force behind the big climate challenge we see today, but we have to play our part and our role. That said, though, South Africans are facing political and economic uncertainty. So I do think there's an increasing interest in second citizenship. What makes the St. Kitts and Nevis CBI program particularly relevant and attractive for South Africans looking at potentially acquiring a second citizenship in the Twin Island nation?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I think I will approach it this way. The Citizenship by Investment program in St. Kitts, as I indicated, it's a pathway that allows individuals to gain citizenship and to a meaningful investment in our economy. While both ancestral citizenship and citizenship by investment share common values, such as belonging and the rights and a sense of home, there is a fundamental distinction that we must address. The ancestral citizenship ties rights to the birthplace. That's important. Where citizenship by investment asserts the right that should not be confined to where someone is born. And that's critical. And you mentioned it where I think there's an element of, I was born here, this is the only access that I have to this place that I can call home. And as you know, the world is shrinking. And the aspect of citizenship by investment now gives individuals, and most importantly, South African, the option. I think that is what we are in investment and Wall Street. You must always have an alternative option. How do I ensure that there is an option? And this option of having a second citizenship, it also provides an element not only to your personal your portfolio, but also your professional business option. As in my world of investment, we are always thinking of what are the various options that we can provide our clients. So this gives everyone an opportunity to be on equal footing. So whether you have an ancestral citizenship, now you have the opportunity to now have a citizenship by investment. What I would say for South Africans, considering second citizenship, the journey doesn't entail leaving South Africa. And that's one of the benefits that we have. So you're not leaving behind. But more importantly, I would say it expands business opportunities. And this is critical. If I'm in South Africa and then I wish to expand in my footprint, whether from a business perspective or explore other opportunities globally, now this gives you that opportunity. And it doesn't restrict you. You don't have to go through a number of the challenges. I would say someone without that second citizenship may have access to this. And also it benefits from our appealing, I would say, tax regime. Our program is about growth empowerment, enabling individuals to have that interconnectivity, and specifically for South Africans, ensures that there's a clear understanding that I'm not just leaving the home, but also you are now having access to the world at your fingertip to explore certain things that would benefit you personally and professionally from an investment side.
And I've personally interviewed entrepreneurs who, because of our exchange controls in South Africa, had to set up offshore structures in order to expand and grow their businesses. And it just comes down to the commercial realities of the day in a world where very often tech businesses can scale globally, but then you hamstrung by local regulations. So maybe you could just break down how one then gains access through the various investment pathways available under the program, and how do these options benefit both me as an investor as well as the local community?
Yeah, so in terms of the different ways you can get into the program, I think that's the question you're asking, the entrance point of how do I get access to the program. What I would say first is I would encourage individual first to explore our website as an opportunity to get that level of interest. So what we have is the ciu.ken.gov, and that will first give you a plethora of information in terms of the various options that we have in St. Kitts and Nevis. We have really 4 specific products that we offer. The first is what's called a sustainable island state contribution. And that in of itself allows an individual to invest in a non-refundable amount of US $250,000. And this gives you access up to 4 family members in terms of having the opportunity to get access to the citizenship program. That contribution, and you mentioned it in terms of an investment, but also the contribution to the economy. That investment into the fund is used specifically by the government to support our sustainable island state agenda, economic diversification, healthcare investment, education investment, renewable energy, various projects that will support our federation. And the fund is really the fastest way, I would say, because it clearly is an area that we will, as a nation and as a government, wish to support in some of our capital projects. The other 4 areas really aligns with, I would say, real estate investment. One is we have what's called a developer real estate option, and that allows an individual, perhaps someone wish to invest and develop a hotel or perhaps a resort, some type of business opportunity in the development space, and that allows them in terms of access to the citizenship via that level of investment and partnering with some of the local developers within the region. We initially had that at 400,000 US. Upon assuming the role, I dropped that to 325,000 US dollars. And I really wanted to make sure that it is a minimum of, as I said, 325,000 to allow individuals the opportunity in certain areas to begin getting access into this area. The third one we have is what we call the real estate private option. And so if I may step back, the developer option also gives you the opportunity to invest into condominiums. We know individuals may want a condominiums or perhaps a unit or even a share into certain development. And so that is part of development. We have what's called also a private real estate sale. So for example, there's certain beautiful homes. We have a number of individuals that wish to sell these private homes, and those start at a minimum now at 600,000 US dollars. Very beautiful tropical home in St. Kitts. And so we wanted to offer those individuals here in St. Kitts and Nevis the opportunity to sell, if they so desire, their beautiful home to individuals who perhaps wish to now perhaps participate in our citizenship financing program. And then the last one is what we call our public benefit option. And that starts at a minimum of 250,000 US dollars. And what that does, it allows an investor to partner with the government for a number of our capital projects. So for example, our high school, or perhaps our airport expansion, or even to the extent of our renewable energy journey. So it allows individuals the opportunity now to, yes, get that second citizenship. And as I mentioned before, now you can also do good in supporting the government along its journey in regards to our sustainable island state and supporting our economic diversification. So the easiest three-pronged approach is, I would say, visit the website. It gives you will give the individual an opportunity to see the various programs in details. And then from there, we encourage them to take a look at the list of our authorized agents who are granted the opportunity to participate and sell our program. And so they must connect with an authorized local agent. An applicant cannot contact our unit directly. They must partner with an authorized agent. And from there, complete all the various paperwork in order to get the process going.
That's very interesting. In terms of the process, though, what is one looking at in terms of are there pre-qualification criteria, and what kind of timelines should applicants be aware of if they are interested? Let's maybe just simplify it and say they're interested in going into that initial $250,000 investment, which is just under 5 million rand. What should they be aware of from the get-go?
Yeah, absolutely. No, and it's important to sort of start at the beginning. In terms of awareness, it is first off, as I indicated, if one has already made up their decision in terms of this is the option or this is the pathway of the program I wish to invest in, one, it is partnering with an authorized agent. We have a list of authorized agents on the website. And so once you've indicated and perhaps made a connection, that individual now is, in my Wall Street Group, it's now your advisor. And they would walk you through the completion of the application. And the application simply, as in all application, we need to know who you are. We need to have a number of information just to verify that you are the right person. The process then involves what we call a due diligence. It is important that we preserve and protect the integrity of the program. And so we perform a due diligence process with our international partners simply to verify the information that you've indicated on the application and just ensure that it is accurate. We want to ensure that we provide the right individual to protect our national security and ensure that we are not bringing bad actors into the program, and that's very critical. As I outlined, we have access to 100 visa-free access to close to 160 countries around the world, and access to the bigger countries, as I said, in regards to the Schengen island for the EU and the UK. And so it's important, and then also our passport is extremely strong in regards to having a visa, getting a visa to the US. And so we are critically aligned to ensuring our international partners feel confident in the program, that they know and are clear that the individuals that we allow into the program are truly individuals who are of means, yes, but individuals who will not create any disrepute to our Federation, St. Kitts and Nevis, nor create a challenge or any type of security risk to our international partners. So I would say those are sort of the upfront component that I would encourage individuals. Obviously, there are some additional fees if there's more than the 4 individuals that they so desire, and those can be communicated with the authorized agent, who is their representative to the unit, and they would walk them through the process. In regards to timeline, one of the key things that we have been committed to once we became a statutory corporation, 1st of October, is upon the receipt of the application, our commitment is to make a decision point in 10 weeks. And that's really important. A decision in 10 weeks to advise the applicant in terms of which direction this application would go. And then we are committed to getting to a citizenship entire process between the window of 120 to 180 days. And so that's in terms of efficiency, that's critical. And, it's a balance. As I said, I'm coming from Morgan Stanley, and that's critical in terms of one of the core things you always do is you want to provide the client the right product. You want to provide the client an efficient product within a reasonable time, but you do not wish to compromise the integrity of the process or the program. So we looked across what is the right balance, and that's what we have outlined as part of our overall process to get someone an opportunity to get a second citizenship.
But again, that just builds confidence, given what you were saying about the scrutiny on CBI programs globally, and because they are, they're always going to be bad actors that will try and exploit these things. You've got to ensure your due diligence maintains the integrity of these offerings. So I think that also gives the applicant confidence that the program and the process is really thorough and has the requisite integrity behind it. Maybe we can just come back to how these investments are directly impacting the people and the infrastructure of St. Kitts and Nevis. So maybe you could just elaborate a little bit more on some of the examples of how this program has really benefited local people on the ground.
Yeah, what I would say is, first off, the attractiveness of the program globally in different facets. Yeah, and if I didn't go in terms of what we offer more explicitly outside of our economy, you think about, I talk about some of the tax regime. We don't have personal income tax. We do not have wealth tax. And we don't tax you on your global income. And so that in of itself is an attraction for different reasons, and obviously for the expansive mobility that the citizenship offers with the grant of a passport. So that's the first thing. So I call that the sort of, you get it in. So that's the inflow of the revenue. Now, once you have the revenue, the intent must be delivered in terms of how does it touch the local economy. And I always start with that because I think where individuals tend to ask that specific question, well, how does it impact the economy? I said, first we have to attract. And so let me walk you through how we attract and the benefits of getting in. And once it gets in, then how does it now, to your point, impacts the economy? And I've touched on some of this. The revenue for the Citizenship My Investment Program, it infused across every facet in our economy. It infused within our agriculture production. So that in of itself, the revenue goes into the agriculture production in regards to investment into whether it's smart farms that we look to ways that we have to do certain investment into whether it's poultry, all the way to subsidizing a number of our a number of our initiatives in St. Kitts, whether it's subsidizing energy costs to individuals who may not have that. So that's also a part of the benefit that the revenue comes. It also leads into the prescription. We're able to now offer individuals who may not be at a certain economic level a lower price point. And that in of itself helps an individual. All the way to education, where the government is now able to subsidize or provide a level of contribution, or even to the extent in certain interest rate, because the revenue that comes in from our program enable us to do this. And that's very unique. Yeah, as you said, coming as a business individual, you obviously look at how the inflows are, what are the markets, what are the new price point. And once you have it, it's usually reinvested in the private, so that's usually reinvested. But could you imagine now you have an opportunity to actually touch the local person? And that is critical. And that is one of the most important things that I think what the government has done is that we wanted as you said, a dual return on investment on both sides, mutual benefit on both sides. Mutual benefit for the investor who wishes to get the second citizenship, but it also, that revenue has to touch the individual at home and diversify our economy. As I said, we're a small island state, Twin Island Federation. One of Nevis is this one of the smallest country in the hemisphere. And the Prime Minister has always talked about, if we were to, we're in the hurricane line, and so we have to be able to protect our economy for the many years to come. And in order to do that, we need the investment to support these type of initiative that we're moving forward to a sustainable island state.
And I mean, that to me, from a kind of a leadership perspective, sounds like you're hoping to leave behind a significant legacy personally. I mean, how do you see these programs and this CBI program in particular evolving, and what kind of legacy are you hoping to leave behind for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis?
Michael, that's a very good question. I think for me personally, I have had a wonderful career on the global market in regards to my access, my ability to have seen, manage a number of high net worth individuals' portfolio and provide advice. And so when I was asked to step into this role and I would say temporarily hang up my professional hat from Wall Street, because you can't give it up forever, as you would know in this space. I had to reflect and understand, well, what legacy do I want to be able to share? And it is really about sustainability. That's number one. It is creating perhaps an opportunity, because I saw it firsthand. I was able to see individuals across the globe in some of the seats that I was afforded to, who may not have had the opportunity because the passport did not allow them to travel. They did not, because of perhaps their citizenship, that they were born, their ancestral citizenship, they did not have the opportunity. They had the financial means, a number of zeros behind their names, and then you realize that did not afford them that opportunity. As you had individuals who are very prominent business individuals, and because of where they're from, and they had to go get a visa, and that visa in of itself may have taken extended time, lost opportunity, and changes in that meeting that perhaps someone would have had to only have that 48-hour window. And now they have to go to a different, they have to go through a process and get a visa, lost that great opportunity. So we're in reverse now. You have the option of having a second citizenship. You now have access with the use of this passport. So that was one area where I was able to sit back and see how this product and how this is able to support individuals. And again, as we talk about the situation for economic instability or perhaps political uncertainty in certain areas, and individuals are looking for a safe place to call home. And regardless of the number of zeros behind their name, they don't have that opportunity. So that's one, is in providing that avenue. But then secondly, it comes back to, enabling the continuity of nation building. I want to be able to leave a legacy where there is generational opportunities for citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, and even now understanding that we are no longer just a small island state in the Caribbean region, but we have reach with new citizens across the world who are also now part of this journey. And so we can now have access and reach for whatever those needs are, and partner with now new citizens or individuals who wish to invest in our country. So when I step away, for me, it would give me a pride to see that this program has benefited, or the intent of it has benefited the Federation, and have the revenue to support the government in their capital projects, but more importantly, the continuation of sustainable island state for many, many years to come, as we see where the world is going to be in the next 20, 30, or 40 years.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've been pioneering this for 40 years, since 1984, and one can see the lessons that have been learned and the effort that has gone into crafting something that really has this shared value approach. I look forward to one day maybe coming and kicking the bricks on some of those fantastic projects and enjoying some of the famed hospitality of that little slice of paradise in the Caribbean. Your Excellency, thank you very much for sharing such valuable insights with us here on Business Talk.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.